My name is Coach Ofori Asare. I'm the head coach for the national boxing team. I'm also the head coach for Wisdom Boxing Club. I started boxing through my uncle, and I was both amateur and professional boxer for some time. Then I get into coaching. This place is a Wisdom Boxing Club, and I'm the founder of Wisdom Boxing Club. Boxing, as I came and met, I can say my uncle called King Pepe was a boxer, and I can say that was the influence, because I have to watch him sometimes doing shadow boxing and other things. And then I decided also to follow him to the gym club, and then I found myself becoming a boxer. And then through that, with some pressures on me to stop boxing, I think I end up becoming a coach, and which that one my family accept a little bit. So I'm into coaching, and I've produced a whole lot of boxers. I can say 99% of most of the good boxers around pass through my hands. I've been around for long. Recently, I'm the coach who took Samotechi to the Olympics Games, and we had bronze, which the last time we get that was 49 years back for boxing, and then 29 years for sports in Ghana. And so far we have only 4 medals at the Olympics, and 4 medals. We have 5 medals in all. No, 4 medals in all. Boxing has Eddie Blay, Prince Amate, Samuel Techi, Aikwote Senior, and then one for football. That is at the era of the Starlets, which involved Tornado, Stephen Appiah, their group. So boxing has done so much for the Olympics in terms of winning the match medal, and in terms of champions. In my time as a national coach, in my time we had as a coach, my time, I think we had boxers becoming champions like Joseph Agbeko, Joshua Clottey, Isaac Dogbe, Richard Comey, and the recent ones that yes. You see, actually, I saw all the world champions that Ghana has produced, from DK Poison up to Isaac Dogbe and Richard Comey. So I can say I'm blessed seeing all the world champions that Ghana has produced. And so I'm very familiar about every aspect of it. And I can say boxing actually look like a very difficult sport when you've not been a boxer before, you've not come around boxing. You think it is like a ordinary fighting, but boxing is just a scientific aspect which help people to realize how they can defend themselves, internal self-defense, which when you go deep, you realize that we have a whole lot of support or protection around it. Protection in terms of the referee, whose paramount interest is to protect the two boxers in the ring. And there is always a doctor around also to protect the boxers as well as anybody who get into any problem around the ring. And we have other judges, jury, and the rules also which govern the sport in a way that they keep on changing the rules, amending it in order to bring protection or some sort of sanity also around the sport itself. So boxing actually is not how people see it from outside. Sometimes it is a very disciplined sport that changes the people. When someone is a boxer, he has to go through a lot of discipline or training that change the person in total. Because when you are boxing and you are going to do weight, it is like a priest. You have to do fasting. You have to control your diet. There are so many aspects of it. And also, they teach you how to respect, because you need to respect the referee and your opponent as well. So, boxing in general prepares you, mold you to become a person, and it's also a window for the poor or for dropouts or people who think they cannot also attain some level in society. But through boxing, you can see where Azuma Nelson is. It's an exemplary person. I quote the rest. So boxing can change the individual from the lowest ladder to the highest level. So I see boxing as a sport that can turn things around, even can affect the nation in terms of development. Because in the history of DK Poison winning world title for Ghana, Ghana had opportunity to use the dollar of DK Poison to save the economy at that time. Also, when you look at the international world, you can see about Mayweather, the level he is. Even recently, when they said Mayweather is coming to Ghana, you see the kind of fortune that it is about to bring to Ghana, if not because of the COVID and those things, that it didn't happen. Like you see, it will bring a whole lot of foreign exchange. People will come here, just people who cannot meet him in America will by all means use this as an advantage to be able to come here. So boxing in some other parts can market the nation itself. There are so many grounds that boxing can do to help in the development of a nation. So I love boxing, and I've been a coach, and I've achieved a lot with boxing in terms of winning more than 130 medals as a coach, and also boxers passing through my hands, becoming the world champion, like Joseph Akbeko, Isaac Dogbe, and the rest. So even through boxing, we've won a lot of awards in other, even not only in Ghana. I've had an award in many other countries. I'm international instructor. I train coaches. I'm a trainer of trainers, and based on that, I travel all over the world, and it tells me that it is boxing that has given me that kind of exposure. And so I believe boxing can change people's life, and the way people see it, when it is properly investigated or properly researched, you will see how boxing pure and clean it is. Sometimes we call it a noble art of self-defense. That is the interpretation for boxing when we are trying to give a literal meaning. But we also explain it by calling it sweet science. Sweet science. That tells you the scientific part of it. Like I said, being a boxing coach is not just telling the people to throw their hands and that, but you yourself, you must also learn develop yourself in terms of being scientific, knowing what goes on in the body, in and out, understanding everything, because when you have to be a dietitian as a coach, you still have to be a dietitian, you still have to be a physiotherapist, you should have a link or a knowledge about all this around boxing. You should be able to help the boxers. You should be able to have a knowledge about first aid. You should be able to understand what goes on whenever a boxer eats, how it breaks down to the energy level for the boxer also to be able to box. So even helping the boxer to eat the right food, the coach must have knowledge about it, and the boxer also, based on that, will understand a whole lot of scientific aspects in it. Traveling will give you idea, let me say, it will help your geography, because you will be able to know some countries that are in the world. Boxing can introduce you to all those kind of things. And so I think boxing is a good sport, and it is not, it is a sport that can still be continually developing it. I can't say it is totally perfect, but it is on a way of developing it, and through the support of science and up to date, I can say so many things has changed from the beginning of boxing, when people use rope around their hands. When you go to the olden days, how they draw a line, and before not fighting in the ring, and the rounds that they have to go before they get a champion, and then how it has changed to this present day, fighting in the ring, having the doctors and all the scientists around it, tells you. Even now, when you see the history about it, many historians have recorded a whole lot of things about boxing, and now presently the history is gradually getting into a rare history of life itself, because many people, you can see their life, where they come from and where they through boxing. And I think a whole lot of champions have stories to tell. Boxing actually, people box already, but it is not the approved boxing, because in Ga Mashie we have Asare, we have a whole lot of things. Odododio, when this about this Odododio that we hear about, it is a tone to bring people together to come and then show their capacity level in terms of fighting. So in Ga Mashie, you could see that it is Ga Mashie itself also discovered boxing on its own before the boxing from international also came into it. So the people of Ga Mashie are already mold boxers. That is the reason why when you go into the history of Ghana, you will see that most boxers or most great champions or even good coaches, they have to have a link to Ga Mashie before they can become whatever they want to be. Most of the champions, some of them may not be actually Gans, but it is because they stay in Accra. That is why they become very good boxers. The same thing applies to coaches and a whole lot of people involved in the sport. So Ga Mashie has been like a place that helped boxing to stand very well, because the people there, their mind and everything is tuned to boxing already. So like I said, through that, there's a white man, I cannot mention his name, who also came to Ghana, and he was the one who rather bring the official boxing into Ghana. And they started from in Sawam, and then to this presently we can say where the Bank of Ghana is, and then you can also trace the history about Arena, where they call Arena. It is because of boxing. That's why they call that area arena. There's a whole lot of history I cannot tell about the whole thing, but it has a whole lot of wonderful stories that when you do research, you'll be able to understand. So boxing is a sport that, for instance, I can say majority of boxers, if you make that research, if you want to do it, are outside Ghana, and it is because they go out and they experience the outside world and they build families outside, and then so I believe a lot of boxers who have been outside and they have developed themselves and they still come back also to help our economy. The supporters, we have wonderful supporters. If I see the way people support boxing in Ghana, I can see it like that in all over the world. I've traveled a lot and I can tell you this. You see the die-hard supporters for boxing, they can die for one boxer in the ring. I remember when Joshua Krote and Emmanuel Krote, when their first fight at I think Kaneshi complex or so, the supporters, before they finished the fight, about 2 supporters had accident, and then I don't know how can you tell that a boxer, somebody going to box, and all of a sudden people have to die for the boxer to win. So when you go, sometimes I remember recently there was even gunshots at the arena, boxing arena, and most of the times there have to be a strong security around it, because if you want to be a boxing promoter and you wanted to promote boxing, then it means you should be able to have security around it and make sure that you can control the crowd, because people can die for the one they support, the one they love. And boxing, I can tell you, in Ghana here, the supporters, they are I don't know, I can't describe them. I can say true, because that is the main sport that they love. There are footballers around it, but boxing has been like what the people love so much. So if one person is going to box and that person is fighting someone outside Ghana, it brings the people together. When you go, you can remember far back Azuma Nelson time, DK Poison time, even up to I-Quarter time. The people have to burn woods and things, that's a bonfire, and people would just not sleep just because Azuma Nelson is going to fight, just because I-Quarter is going to fight. So people would just torment themselves and stay there awake until they see the final results of a boxing match. And in that way, you see that everybody comes together to be praying for the one who is our hero, or the one who is going to fight for Ghana. So when you are a Ghanaian and you are a boxer and you are fighting outside, then you see that the country itself unites behind you and rally to support you. Finally, I and then my daughter, who loves boxing so much, she has also helped and blend my way of boxing, and we believe that the children who love boxing, those who are from poor family, those who come into boxing, if they don't have education, they can still learn through boxing. So we can socialize them through boxing in terms of getting them to education, try to sometimes pay some of them their school fees for them, teach them if in our own way, let them understand how to relate to society and all those things. So when we say a book before hooks, it is something that we have come to adopt, that education and the sport of boxing can be blended together, and with that you can be very successful. Actually, the world keep on changing. Like they say, what a man can do, a woman can do better. Yeah, women also do different other sports. They do taekwondo, karate, they play football, they do all the other aspects. It is boxing that recently they fight. The women want to be part of it. And so there are some women who came together and they fought for boxing to give them a chance also to become a part of it. And so recently, I think it is 2012 that boxing first get opportunity to participate in the Olympics, female part of it. So now they are part of the Olympics, and that is the reason why everybody has to get involved in preparing women. In Ghana here, it was very, very difficult because Ghana, we don't want our women to get into boxing. So initially, when I started training female boxers, it was very, very, very difficult because their parents may not agree with you, their friends may not agree with you, and so it is very difficult. But we have to explain to them, to let them know how safe the sport is, how scientifically there are so many explanations in it for them to know that it is not a sport for only men. It's a sport that women can also participate, and it can also change the economy of the person's family if the person is able to break away to the international world and win medals and titles for his family. So now female boxing is now developing in Ghana. It is not at a higher level yet, but I think we will get there. We have our first female medal at Senegal recently, 2019. That was Onera status, and you will be surprised that she's a doctor for is a chemist, is a practice chemistry, and is a doctor, and that tells you the level-minded person with a higher education who is involved in boxing. Then who are you if you don't have any level? Even well-educated people are now understanding the sport. So Onera being our first female bronze medalist is also eye-opening for female boxing in Ghana itself, and we love Onera wherever he is because he has done a very good job for the development of female boxing. Actually, boxing itself, when you are not, at least from the age from 7 there, you will be learning the art, but you will not actually involve in strong maybe contacts. We mold them, we make sure that we introduce them into the sports, the rules and regulation around it, but they grow to some level before they started using the grooves and then punching bags and anything. So in terms of the parents and the people around it, if the person wants his child or his ward to enter into boxing, and we look at the age, sometimes we let him start showing him or her boxing videos for the interest to come up, and then when they come to the gym, we teach them the shadow boxing, we teach them the movement and so many things before when they come of age, then we get them into it. So we don't rush them into it, we prepare them gradually into it. That is another difficult aspect of it. You being a coach, nobody supplies you. You have to buy 1, 2, 3 gradually to be able to buy this the passion that you have as a coach, because most of the times everything that I do here as a boxing coach it is the passion that moves me, and I share my salary. I'm also a worker at the National Sports Authority. I share my salary with the kids. I make sure that I help them wherever I can. And also there are other supportive institutions, bodies who also come in sometimes to help us. For instance, recently we have BSR, that is Black Star Revolution. They help us in building this our ring. We have the ring and they help us in finishing it. We have a whole lot of individuals. I can say Alaji Nusa and a whole lot of people. They sometimes support us in some way. We Ken Pon clothes or something. They also sometimes come and help us with our. So we have a whole lot of people who, individual people, and then some companies who, when we approach them, whenever we have some activities and we approach them for them to come to support, they come, especially because we can use it to change society. Yeah, I think Ga Mashie, if you want to learn boxing, boxing is for everybody. But Ga Mashie has reached some level, which when you come to Ga Mashie, it will be more easy. For now, we have more than 40 plus gyms in Ga Mashie. That tells you that you may have the equipment when you come around to train here. So Ga Mashie is ahead and in terms of boxing in Ghana, but we want also to develop all the region. So we want to have, because we have different kind of body structures when you go to the other region. For instance, the north, people at the north, they have bigger people than the people at Accra here. You can, so based on the people, the structure that we have in other regions, it tells you that we can get everyone on board, and everybody may have something to do for boxing. So I can say boxing is not as difficult as you see wherever you are. You can still come in and learn boxing, and even you can use boxing as fitness, because we have something we call box fit. We train you as a boxer, but you will not box. You just use it as self-defense, and then also keep yourself in shape, because boxing has that in it.